Hello and welcome. In this video we're gonna be reviewing Easy Paint Prefabs package. The goal of this package is to simplify level design by allowing you to add props to your scene more easily. The package comes in a folder called Easy Paint. It's very important that you place this folder under your assets and don't move it anywhere else, because the script that the package is using is referencing path from the assets folder. Within the folder you have Easy Paint Prefabs PDF, which explains how to use this brush, textures folder, which is not meant to be touched, and the scripts folder containing the Unity brush script. So to start using the Easy Paint Prefab brush, you have to click Window, Easy Paint Prefabs, and it'll pop up. I already have it opened in here. Now I'm going to go through every setting in this window and explain how to use it. The very first setting that you can see on the top is the Not Ready button. So whenever you're ready to use the Easy Paint and want to start adding assets to your scene, you have to just press Ready. If you wish to stop using it, you can just tweak it back to Not Ready. The next thing that you can see in the Easy Paint window is the Object window. When no object is selected, you get a red warning that you need to select an object in order to use this brush. So you can either drag and drop it or select it from the menu, either from the scene or from your assets. I've got some prefabs in here, so let's drag and drop the cube in there. Now the brush is actually ready to use, and if we check it to ready and start right clicking in our scene, it'll be adding our prefab to the scene. This is much faster than actually dragging and dropping your prefabs to the scene. The next option is the offset. It can be either dynamic or static. The offset is a vector 3 that is added to your prefab when it is spawned. As we can see in here, our cubes spawn kind of in the middle of the ground. So we can use the offset 0.5 in the y-axis, and then our cubes start spawning on the ground rather than in the ground. This can save you a lot of time, because if you were to manually drag and drop object, then go to your inspector and type in the value, it would take you quite a long time to do that, rather than setting an offset. We'll go back to dynamic offset once we start spawning multiple objects. But basically what the dynamic offset does is it multiplies the offset by the scale of an object. So if your object is scaled either by the Easy Paint script, or it is not 111 like this cube, for example, you can use dynamic offset in order for it to be changed relatively to its scale. Up next is object rotation. It can be either selected rotation or random rotation. Selected rotation just allows you to spawn every single object with a specific rotation. Let's change our prefab. If you choose random rotation, you get to select a range of values in between which your object is going to rotate. Right now it can rotate between 0 and 360 degrees in all of the axes. So if I press and spawn several of them, every object will have different rotation, which is selected randomly. Up next is the spawn mode. You can either choose click mouse mode or the hold mouse mode. We already seen the click mouse when an object is spawned whenever you right click in the scene. Hold mouse can be useful if you want to speed up your clicking part. You can set up the interval in seconds to whichever you prefer. Let's see what happens when it's 1. That took me just 1 click. So if you hold your right click, it'll spawn an object after the interval that's written up there. So if we reduce it to something like 0.2, you'll be spawning your objects pretty fast. Next option is one or multiple objects. We've seen one object in action. Whenever you click or hold the mouse, one object is spawned. However, we can choose multiple objects. And then you get this circle around your cursor. What this does is spawn amount of objects that you set up within that range. Let's try it out. Let's say minimum object is 5, maximum is 10, and we want to spawn a cube within brush radius of 5. There you go. We've just spawned between 5 and 10 cubes. There's 9 cubes in here within that radius, within the radius of 5. Because other functions were applied, such as random rotation, all of those cubes are quite different. This can be highly useful for your level design, as often you don't have 10 different models for trees, rocks and grass, but you can make them look different through different rotation. Spawning multiple objects can also be used not only on the flat surfaces, not only on horizontal surfaces, but also on vertical. You can spawn objects wherever you want, even on the surface of the cube. Keep in mind that the offset is local, so it will be applied in the direction local to that object, to that surface. This brush can be applied to any surface. It will automatically fit in. Just watch out for the radius, and you can adjust it to whatever big you may want it to be, and spawn really big amount of objects and fill your scene pretty quickly. Keep in mind that you can combine the hold mouse with multiple objects and keep on spawning objects within a certain area really fast. This can help you to fill your scene up. Easy Paint also allows you to change the parent of the object you're spawning. Simply tick Change Object's Parent option, and then whenever your object is spawned, one of two things will happen. If you've got Hit Object set, then whenever you're spawning your objects, they'll be set. They'll be the child of the object you're hitting right now with your cursor, with your mouse. So if you can see right now, the cylinders up here are spawned to this capsule. The cylinders are spawned up here are child of this cube. This can be very useful because so far we've been creating our objects to nothing, and it creates a mess in the hierarchy. So you can save yourself some time by just spawning them to the objects you want them under. There's also a second option of spawning your objects to a specific object. You can simply drag and drop an object from your scene and then spawn objects to it. So you can see all of the cylinders are now child of the ground. which is really helpful. Finally, there is Change Object Scale option. So far, our prefabs have been spawning with their default scale, the one that's defined within the model itself, within the prefab itself. But we can actually change that. If we choose Selected Scale, we can just change the scale to whatever we want. So if we go back to Cube, let's just have selected rotation for testing purposes. So now, as we can see, all of our cubes are spawning with the 1, 2, 3 scale. Well, alternatively, we can use random scale. If we just select a random scale and insert some values, spawn some objects, we can see that all of them are spawning with absolutely different scale. Oops, it was 33 in here. This can be highly useful to us, that we can just slightly change the scale of our objects and it will make them look rather different from each other. Let's go to another area and see how all of those combined can be highly useful when designing a level. Let's select our cube. As we remember, with no offset, our cubes are spawning in the middle of the ground. And they all look kind of the same. So if we were to choose random scale from 1 to 5 on all axes, random rotation from 0 to 360 on the y-axis, and by using dynamic offset 0.5, all of our cubes, even though different in size and different rotation, will actually look quite differently. And all of them, due to the, oops, got to uncheck, all of the cubes are actually staying on the ground, even though we're changing their scale. This is because we chose dynamic offset. This can be highly useful as you can create your levels filled with props within a matter of minutes. We can also select prefabs from the scene itself. Simply drag and drop and try it out. As you can see, we'll be spawning the exact same model as we have right here, the exact same game object. This can be really fun. Let's keep the object scale for now. We can see with just a couple clicks we can fill our whole scene with all sorts of props. We can also use game objects from the scene as our prefabs. Simply drag and drop them, choose your settings, and you're ready to spawn. Simply with a couple of clicks, we can create a whole lot of prefabs and fill our whole level with lots of props and make it look more lively. As mentioned before, we can also spawn our objects on different planes. Let's try it out. As we can see, we're spawning our spheres top of our cube. This can be really helpful to us, and if you wish the spheres to be closer or further away from the cube, you can use the offset to tweak the settings. That's pretty much it for the Easy Paint prefab brush. I hope you'll find this small tool really useful and use it however you like, and hopefully it'll help you develop your games faster, easier, and more pleasantly. Thank you very much.